I'm very happy and excited to be here, to be part of this event. And today I would like to share with you a topic that I'm mostly passionate about. If you talk with my colleagues, they say, Daniela does nothing but speak about change management. So especially sales reps, as they are sales enablement. But the fact is that in our company, we really have a lot of changes. For those of you who don't know it, Preply is a platform of online tutoring for languages, and we help our customers and our clients to improve the productivities of international teams, and sometimes it is being offered as a corporate benefit to improve the team member retention. And there are also some teams who would like to expand at an international level, and they would like to invest on their employees instead of finding or just delocalizing mother tongue employees elsewhere. So Preply is a young startup company who wants to grow, who wants to innovate, and innovation is change. And change is not always innovation, because obviously the consequences are not always innovative, but change always needs innovation. And so for us, changes are multiplying. So I'd like to see if this also is what's okay with you. So raise your hand if you got the feeling that change is the only constant thing in your work, in our work. And I see many hands raised, even though this is not currently something that is constantly going to be, but it soon is going to be like this, because nowadays change is not an extraordinary event, but it's the new normal. And so the future of work is constantly evolving, starting with the introduction of AI, of which we're going to greatly talk about during this talk, also bringing the implementation of new tools and platforms, and thereby new training platforms and tools, many different requests within the teams of upskilling and reskilling to stay up to date and keep just in touch with, up to date with the new skills required by the market, and the greater fluidity of stuff vertically, because people would like to grow and learn in their career, but also horizontally of people who are interested in new roles and profiles and skills. So the question I'd like to answer to today is, how can we manage all these changes efficiently? What I'd like to share with you today are two strategies that we apply both internally with our sales teams and with our students who daily learn with our platform. Starting off with sharing with you the first strategy, coming from my past in my background in London. I was working for a software firm in London, and if you are familiar with the industry, there are two different methods of project management. We've got the waterfall, traditional one, and then the Agile method. So what we did with Preply is to apply this Agile approach to training. So in all our initiatives, whether they are launching training programs within our LMS learning programs, whether it's teaching or new changes of fees, or maybe a different sales pitch, or the implementation that I'm currently managing, the Vitally, which is a customer success platform for our management, customer management teams, client management teams. And for each one of these examples, we choose and select within our teams a pilot group, sort of early adopters, who can be people who had already used a program previously, or maybe who are particularly interested in the training that we're carrying out, and who help us from the very start in the training and the designing and the defining the prerequisites and the requirements of the program. And during this phase, we have a series of feedback to progressively improve the product before rolling it out to all the different sales teams. And what is the impact of the strategy? Well, the impact is that we avoid resistance to change. Resistance to change is human. It's within us. When they tell us we need to change something, we are always like a bit of an uncertainty with us, and timings get a little bit longer, but we're going to reduce this timing because we directly involve the teams from the very start, and thereby what we are creating are spokespersons for the change, trailblazers who really foster the change in their teams, and they foster the adoption of the program or adopting new systems. To show you the difference, and you maybe are thinking, do you already apply and do you already implement an agile approach or the waterfall one? Well, this is a quite of remarkable and distinctive and quite explanatory image. So these the waterfall, if we think of a training program, for example, we can imagine what the different forms can be, the different sections can be, the different modules, the content, which exercises we can make, we can let the teams make to enhance their learning ability. And then afterwards, this is normally what happens in the stage of designing and approval. It normally happens with the leadership, and it takes a long time. There is a long time to approve it. And then we start developing all the content, all the modules, all the forms, all everything. But sometimes we end up with an outcome which is a little bit too complex than necessary, and sometimes it is not efficient. Well, at least it's going to be difficult to just jump on that swing unless we're just going to be under it. So the agile approach includes from the very start all the employees, maybe back to the example of the training program, starting off with the overall structure and with a series of feedbacks and phases. We're just going to be revising it with our pilot group, revising the first module with the pilot group, and shall continue just like this until we get to the end result, which is something more efficient and it's actually more comfortable and convenient, as we even got a pillow on our swing. Back into detail. Here's the deep dive between the differences of the requirements. They're defined from the very beginning with no changes in the waterfall. In the Agile, they may change, but the main difference is that the Agile approach is much more collaborative. We collaborate with leaderships, with team leads. We collaborate with the head of departments, with the employees themselves, who ultimately are going to have to carry out the LMS program using the new sales pitch. So we collaborate with them from the very start, and these are quick and short but brief and intense interactions which allow us to have a first quite quick kickoff and launch to have progressive improvements. In case we had a budget, difference is that we do not plan everything from scratch, but the investment is progressively done based on the efficacy of the program. Now, however, we have quite of a doubt with this strong interactions internally, but when we have too many projects, it can be complicated to manage. And so the question is, how can we avoid what is the so-called change fatigue? As soon as we start receiving too many notifications, requests for feedback, too many requests of doing certain training. Last year, and we even have got our sales reps were like, well, every time we got a new training, every single day, a new project, a new way to do things. Well, when do you think I can do my job? I don't know if that sounds like you, but I've heard it both internally and externally. So how am I supposed to do my job if I've got all these things to do? And so preferring a few changes at a time supports a greater sustainability, a targeted sustainability, both of the company and of the program. Because otherwise, we just have to just follow up all these new changes and innovations. But by the end of the day, the sales teams just not using it. So what have we done within Preply? Well, the main concept is having clear set of priorities to ensure sustainable changes. I think this is something that happens within many companies where we've got periodical meetings to set up these priorities. But in Preply, we've got our Preply days. So a full day every quarter where we all bring together leadership, supporting teams, and some representatives of sales teams to show the priorities, introduce them to our priorities, and discuss them in the same room. We're all in the big room, and we're just going to discuss every single change and every single priority. All right, just a quick second. What normally happens after these Preply days in the enablement team is that we create a unified calendar for every single team, taking into account when the collaboration, feedback, or training of the different sales teams is going to be required. You don't see this anymore, but those blue lines, okay, so here it is. Those blue lines are when the process and the project requires the sales team's engagement. At the same time, we're trying to analyze their absorbent skills, as this is a process that we are constantly improving, but just carrying out quarterly internal surveys to figure out if we can implement new changes or if we need maybe to reduce the amount of changes. Like I said, we apply these strategies both internally with our teams as well as with our students. Just for a quick recap, talking Agile training, in Preply we offer free trial sessions with our tutors to make sure that before we're just fully committed with a language learning program, the student is confident with finding a tutor who adapts not only to their own needs and wants, but to their personality. I studied French in Preply, and I tried 3 different tutors. They were all really good. However, they were not adapting to my personality when I found the right one. I have been studying French for quite a few months. I went to Morocco last week talking in French to people, having lively conversations. I'm very happy and excited about the outcome, the final result that I have achieved with my tutor. And they have been all short lessons. We even offer 25-minute lessons, which can be easily integrated in the daily working routine to be ensuring greater consistency. I can't wait midday to meet with my French tutor to do some conversation, just a quick exercise, and every single day I'll just continue throughout my workday with my learning. We made it sustainable, and our clients, our companies, we define what we do to make the learning sustainable is to set clear, defined priorities, but especially clear goals, especially for the companies, as for the employees as well, so that the language learning is totally in line with the needs of the companies, and they are communicated and shared both to the students and to the tutors. Furthermore, before starting and just having 12 monthly lessons for employees, we encourage our customers and our clients to carry out surveys. And maybe in agile way, we can start with something a little shorter commitment, and then maybe, if required, to increase the amount of sessions when the employees are already part of the daily routine and the daily workday. Also, because you need to ask yourself at a corporate level, do we want to invest in this program? Yes, but do we actually have enough space and room and time for the employees to dedicate 12 hours a month to do English, Spanish, Portuguese lessons? So we always recommend to create and carry out the service to double check. So I'd say I'll leave it to you with these 2 key mottos, these 2 takeaways, 2 key takeaways. First, in the Agile training, make mistakes in small but win big. or go big or go home. So basically, set clear priorities. And if you would like to continue talking about this, I'm here to talk about properly. Come and visit us at our store. Well, thank you very much. You can access that.